Well, hello from Hilton Head Island. It's early February 2026, and I thought you might be interested in how we survived the big chill last weekend. That was the weekend that everybody in the Southeast was suffering, and we were no exception. We were in the low 20s here out at Hilton Head Island, and the problem becomes the water temperatures. And you say, well, why is water temperature a problem? Well, I'll show you. So right now the water temperature is just almost 49 degrees, and the problem is our chillers need somewhere around 55 degrees to be really fully efficient in the reverse cycle mode. Once you get below 55 degrees, they either can barely hack it or they throw in the towel. And what happened for us was the starboard side chiller threw in the towel, shut itself off automatically, and luckily the port side hung in there, but I had to reduce the load on it because there's just not enough thermal energy in the water below 55 degrees to keep pumping out a lot of heat into the ship. Now the good news is she's got electric heating that supplements the tempered water loop. So each of our thermostats here it triggers an electric heating element that's back here behind the curtain, if you will, and you'll hear them every now and then cycling the relays, going clack clack as they come on and off. So all of the main living area, that is the dining room, the galley, the pilot house area where we are now, the salon, the aft deck, and the main suite, master suite if you will, and the two guest staterooms all have the electric heat. And the electric heat actually holds its own. I don't even need the tempered water loop, as I found out quite by accident when the portside chiller decided to quit on me. Anyway, how do the chillers get the warm water through the boat? Well, let me show you. So this is one of the chillers right here. This is the portside one. Green light is good. It means it's hanging in there. It's providing 84 degree water out into the loop, and I've got it set right now for 82. So with a 5 degree band, so when it drops down to 77, the chiller will kick back in again, the compressor will kick back in again in reverse cycle mode and heat the water loop back up. The water loop temperatures we can see on these two thermometers, one here, one back there, and we can see that it's going out really at 96 degrees and coming back at 84 degrees right now on that one. So we send out 96 degree water using this circulator pump, and that pushes the water out and around through the ship through all 11 zones. And then when it gets through all 11 zones, you can either turn your fan on or off and have that warm air coming into your room. And of course the other zones except for the crew area all have that electric supplemental heat, which I find kind of ironic that the crew is left to fend for themselves with blankets, even more blankets, etc. But it's comfortable down on here. I have temperature sensors throughout the boat. It's a nice 69 degrees in the crew areas, and upstairs in the salon we're running about 72, which is a lot warmer than the Admiral usually likes it, but I'm here by myself so I can run it up a little bit. Anyway, the other thing we ran into was that the Marina shuts the water off when you have below freezing temperatures because they're concerned about their dock lines freezing. So what we did was we had to go on internal water. So we have 900 gallons of water on board, and I filled up the tank, and we have two well pumps which are down here, and you can see the two pumps down there. So we run one at a time. Obviously there's a lot of duplication and redundancy in this boat. Dual compressors, dual water tanks, dual chillers, things like that. So she's made so if one decides she doesn't want to work anymore, we still have a backup plan. Those are well pumps like you would have on a house if you had a well, and so we also have accumulators right here. These two big blue tanks have a butyl bladder in them, and that bladder fills up with water, and the rest of the tank is filled with pressurized air, usually about 38 to 40 psi, and that pushes back on the bladder, and what happens is the well pump will pump the water pressure of the ship up to about 60 psi, And right now we're running about 45. This because we're on Marina water right now. And then what will happen is when it gets to 60 psi, the well pump shuts off, and that bladder is squeezed down by that air pressure to hold the pressure constant in the ship until it gets down below 40 psi, which is the trigger point we've set on the well pumps, and then they'll kick back on and pressurize the ship again. So that's how that works. Well, what we found is the butyl bladder in both of those bombs has failed, I believe, because the well pump kept running about every 30 seconds, and that's indicative that the bladders have shredded, and they're old. I don't even know how old they are, but they're old and they'll need to be replaced. And you can see that this one's going to be a job, because I have the fire suppression system here in my way, and I have the water heater in my way. So I'm going to have to be able to move that water tank over to the right. I believe we're going to take this filter here, which is not in use right now, but we'll take that filter element housing out, and then maybe be able to slide those two guys out through this hole here, and then either repair the bladder or replace the accumulators. That's going to be a job. That's going to be a doozy of a job. But anyway, that's how the heating and AC works on this ship, and that's how we survive the big chill with the electric supplemental heat. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day wherever you are, staying warm.